You ever have one of those days where your ordinary life just spins out of control and you look up and think, no way anyone's going to believe this? Yeah, that was me, the guy who builds wooden gates for a living. Marcus Drake. Just a regular dude with a stubborn streak and a love for working with his hands, not some internet hero or anything. But what happened next? I swear even my dog was looking at me like, you seeing this, boss? You want a wild story? Strap in. So I'm in my shop just outside Austin, sanding down this gorgeous piece of oak sawdust everywhere, radio on, sun coming through the window. It's my happy place, you know. Then boom, there's this pounding on my door, not knocking, more like someone trying to break in with their fists. I wipe my hands, open the door, and there she is. A woman who looked like she'd been cast as suburban villain in a bad sitcom blazer, about 2 sizes too small. Big jewelry, jangling hair sprayed within an inch of its life. Your ugly wooden gate is ruining my property value, she announces before I can even get a good morning out. I'm Margaret Henderson, president of the Oak Hills Homeowners Association, and you're costing me $50,000. She pointed a perfectly manicured finger right at my chest like she was ready to banish me from existence. I tried to keep it cool, though inside I was thinking, lady, you've got the wrong guy. See, I'd bought my place specifically because it wasn't in any HOA. I like my freedom. Ma'am, I'm not part of your HOA. This land's unincorporated. You have no jurisdiction here. Well, her face went from red to this weird shade of purple, and she huffed about how my gate blocked her view of the lake, was killing her home's value, and I was a menace to the community. I mean, I could almost hear the HOA bylaws rattling in her purse as she whipped out her phone and started filming me, saying she was documenting everything for her attorney. Then just like that, she marched back to her white Lexus heels, clacking on the gravel, shouting that I'd be hearing from her lawyer, the city, maybe even the CDC for all I know. My neighbor Tom, who's seen enough crazy to last a lifetime, comes over and shakes his head. That's the 3rd person this month. Last week it was the Johnson's Garden Gnomes. She just goes after everyone, man. And then the letters started, certified mail, of course. First, she claimed my gate violated city ordinances, which was nonsense because, again, not in the city. Next, she said I was causing her emotional distress. Third, a bill for $500 a day until I tore down the non-compliant structure. I filed them in my crazy neighbor folder and figured she'd get bored. But then she started posting about me all over the neighborhood app, calling me a recluse, hinting I was dangerous, even snapped a pic of my truck with the plates visible, claiming I was casing houses. That's when I said, okay, enough, and installed a proper security system. I mean, I used to work in tech security, not mall cop stuff, real cybersecurity, so I know a thing or two about cameras and alarms. I put up cameras covering every inch of my front property, the whole deal, registered with local police. That night something felt off, so I checked my cameras. Sure enough, all 4 feeds glitched out at exactly 2:17 a.m. for 17 seconds, just static, then back to normal. You know that weird chill when you realize someone's testing your perimeter? I found the same glitch the next night and the night after, always 17 seconds, always around 2 a.m. So I scrubbed back through the footage, and there it is, a white Lexus parked just out of sight each time. That's when it clicked. Margaret wasn't just a nuisance, she was planning something. Now this is where the story gets wild. See, Margaret's social media was a goldmine for someone with my background. She wasn't just your run-of-the-mill busybody. She'd been researching gate automation, asking friends online how to hack into neighbors' gates. Someone tipped her off about cloners devices that can capture and replay remote codes. Completely illegal, but hey, the internet is the Wild West. Next thing I know, I catch her signing for a package outside her place, looking around like a teenager with a fake ID. Thing is, my gate wasn't your standard setup. I'd built in a little extra, call it professional paranoia. I tweaked the programming so if anyone tried to use a cloned code, the system would alert the cops and, let's just say, have a little fun with the would-be intruder. I even made sure my police alert was synced up, one push of a button, and they'd know something was up. By Thursday, she's out in her driveway live streaming to her HOA friends, showing off her new security device, the cloner, talking big about protecting the community. Never mind the comments flooding in telling her she's breaking the law. She's too busy playing to the crowd. Then she drives down my street live streaming every moment as if she's on a reality show called HOA Cops. She gets out, points the cloner at my gate, tries it. Nothing happens because I haven't triggered my remote. She frowns, jokes, it's finicky, and tries again. Then right on schedule, she's watched my habits enough to know I usually leave for my woodworking class. On Thursday nights, I open the gate from inside just for her. Her face lights up like she's won the lottery. Now watch, she announces, as I show you how vulnerable this gate is. Except what happens next even, I didn't see coming. She pushes the button, the gate opens, she pulls her Lexus inside, live stream still rolling, viewer count hitting 1,000, 2,000. And then the gate swings shut behind her with a heavy clank, the kind you hear in a maximum security prison. Suddenly, stadium lights flick on, blinding her, and the whole scene looks like a UFO landing in the suburbs. She's trapped. Then the speakers kick in my security system loud as anything trespassing detected. You have illegally accessed this property using a cloned entry signal. This is a federal crime. You are now being detained for law enforcement. Now you'd think this is where she'd stop, right? Nope. Margaret goes full meltdown. She's honking, screaming, slamming on the glass, yelling at her phone, trying to end the live stream, but instead switches to the rear camera. Now the whole neighborhood sees her with mascara running, hair everywhere, yelling, "This is illegal. I'm the HOA president. I have authority." My system keeps calmly repeating law enforcement response time is approximately 3 minutes. It's honestly a little beautiful. That's when she does the unthinkable, dials 911 herself on speaker, still live for thousands to watch. "Help, I'm being held hostage." This man trapped me in his driveway. The dispatcher's professional asks how she got in. Margaret admits she used a device to open my gate. The operator pauses. "Ma'am, did you have permission?" Margaret sputters. Tries to backtrack, but it's too late. She confesses on camera to a federal crime. You could hear a pin drop on that live stream. Exactly 36 seconds later, the cops roll up 3 cruisers and a K9 unit. By now, my neighbors are out in robes and slippers recording everything. Tom's sitting on his lawn chair grinning like Christmas came early. Cops walk straight past me to Margaret's Lexus. Her car's electrical system is scrambled by the security field so she can't open the doors. The officers are all business. "Ma'am, step out of the vehicle." When she finally does, clutching her purse, the K9 unit's dog starts going nuts at her passenger seat. And here's the twist nobody saw coming. They find not just the gate cloner, but a stack of HOA letterheads for other neighborhoods. 3 different HOAs, all naming Margaret as president, all with different seals and signatures. The officers run her ID, and boom, she pops up with federal warrants in 3 states for fraud, identity theft, and embezzlement. Turns out Margaret Henderson isn't even her real name. She's been running HOA scams up and down the country, stealing millions from neighborhood funds. The FBI shows up, takes her into custody. She's still sputtering about just enforcing standards, and suddenly everyone's looking at me like I'm some kind of hero. News vans park outside my place, reporters calling nonstop, my inbox full of HOAs wanting me to consult on security. You know what's wild? My woodworking business boomed. Everyone wanted the gate that caught the HOA bandit. 6 months later, I sat in a packed federal courtroom as Margaret, real name Diane Cosner, got 25 years no parole for 15. The judge wasn't buying any of her victim of society stuff. The FBI discovered she'd conned 53 different HOAs, stolen over $3 million. Her ex-husband even wrote to thank me, said he'd tried for years to warn people, but nobody believed him. These days, life's mostly back to normal. I still build gates, still help out the odd HOA, still check my cameras at night. But sometimes I think back to that first day, the pounding on my door, the wild ride that followed, and it just reminds me you never really know who your neighbors are or what a simple gate might uncover. Now I gotta ask, do you think she got what she deserved? Ever dealt with a neighbor like that? Someone who just can't mind their own business? Drop your stories or opinions in the comments below. Justice doesn't always come easy, but sometimes karma sounds like a security gate slamming shut, and that's a sound I'll never get tired of.